shit stuff's about to pop off, baby. I can tell. Bum, bum, push that button. You push that button. Okay, guys, listen up, okay? Japan's having a crisis, and there's only one man who could stop it. The Tokyo Reporter. And he's going to be talking about the anti-foreigner sentiment here in Japan. And the last video, his video is supposed to be 10 minutes long, and the last reaction I did to this was over an hour. So let's see how long this one will be. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. If you guys like these videos, don't forget to smash the like button, leave a comment telling me that you liked it. And, don't forget, I have a Patreon. If you ever want to actually learn Japanese to help you move to Japan or visit Japan, well, you know where to go. Patreon.com/TkyoSam. Let's get right into it, baby. Boom. Okay, let's do this. Now, that guy did it right, Pops. You're right, Quick. There we go. Okay.
Japan is some of the most pro-immigrant countries, as the worker shortage has been a prominent issue, and nearly half of the city governments face difficulty of surviving. Naturally, most of them seek more foreign workers. The Japanese government prefers to use the term foreign workers, but it's practically immigrants, and since he was in office, the number has been growing to this day, and they are supporting many sectors or industries here.
It's a sign that Japan is becoming more open as it tries to hire more workers. In short, it has to be more welcoming.
But in the parliament, there's been a lot of pushback recently. And today, I'm about to interview a politician who's raising concern about it.
海外からの人をたくさん自分の国に入れていったときに、今日本で起きている現状どうかと言ったら、日本で一生懸命自分の力を発揮しよう、その国にもメリットをもたらそうっていう方ではなくてですね、ちょっとよこしまな目的な方もいらっしゃるんじゃないの、ちゃんとその人が我が国に貢献できているのかどうか確かめるのに、もうちょっとしっかりした仕組みがあった方がいいんではないですか。
To give you context, Japan will welcome those moving here for starting business. So many cities across the nation has been supporting foreign startups as a way to increase employment or stimulate economy. And we are accepting more and more those recently. But the system might be heavily abused, especially by Chinese immigrants who account for nearly 50% of the visa.
中国国内も今経済が非常に傾いてきていて不安定だと、もっといい環境で暮らせないかなと思った時に日本という国が候補に上がるわけです。じゃあ日本の魅力って何なのかっていうと、社会保障制度ですね。で、日本というのは国民皆保険という世界の中でも非常に充実した医療制度、医療の仕組みっていうのがあります。それ以上は国の負担でカバーしますよっていう制度があるんですね。社会保障制度を使うにはと考えたら、経営管理ビザで日本に会社を持って経営してますという実態があればいいのね。ただ実際日本で事業もやってないし住んでないよね。何か体に不都合があった時だけ日本にやってきて、その社会保障制度の恩恵に預かる。これは本来の目的ではないし、日本国民としては非常に悲しいことですよね。
Yeah, but we already did a reaction video where we found out that if those companies are not profitable within 2 years, they lose the visa. And so these people, even if they start up a company, if that company doesn't make any money, I mean, like, to say people are just setting, because in order to set up a company here, you need to have $50,000 moved to a Japanese bank, which Japan can seize anytime if you're doing sketchy shit. So when people are like, well, if they're coming to Japan to take advantage of the medical system, I mean, China has universal healthcare too, right? Like, I've seen videos on YouTube where like foreigners like from America are bragging that it's super cheap. So, I'd be more concerned about Chinese citizens coming over to Japan and becoming Japanese citizens to sway elections, like what's happening in Canada, where a ton of fucking mayors and governors and like people in the Canadian government are all Indian now. Or like in the UK, where they've got a shit ton of Muslims, like that are mayors or whatever, also in government, where they're opening up mosques left and right and making kids for public school go check out mosques and shit. Like, that's one thing I'm really against. But Chinese people coming here for healthcare, and like, look, I am 100% on the Japan side for not wanting Chinese people to come in here and abuse the system. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, are they coming here for like a hard surgery, like brain surgery or something? It just makes me think like, why would Chinese people spend 50 grand to move to a Japanese bank that they could seize at any point just to come here for free healthcare? Like, I have healthcare, but and I go to, I take ADHD meds, so I go to the doctor every month to re-up on those. And when I get really sick, I go to the doctor. I've already been sick twice so far this year, but you know, like the Japanese healthcare covers 70%, but you still have to pay for the rest, you know. So, yeah. What is it? You just giving them the idea. Oh no. Yeah, Canada and the UK are cooked. Yeah, it's all their own fault. Yep, they're fucking stupid. Yep, let's see. Let's go. Yep.
Another politician, Tamaki, also raising concern about it. In most cases, the amount you pay is based on your previous year's income. So if you just moved here, obviously you had no income in Japan for the previous year. That way your insurance fee is gonna be the minimum amount, just 1,000 yen per month. And
yeah, but what again? Like, what is this medical stuff that they can't? I thought in China they cover basic medical stuff, at least in the major cities, right? So, I mean, like, I understand the anti-China stuff, but it's like, again, I don't want Chinese people coming here, getting Japanese passports, and then trying to become part of the government to sway the Japanese government on the side of Chinese commie bullshit. That's what that's what I'm against. But the healthcare thing, like, what exactly? What kind of healthcare shit are they talking about? Because even going in for a cold, if you don't have insurance, doesn't really cost that much money anyway, you know?
you could receive a high-cost medical treatment, which might be 10 times more expensive in your country. To take advantage of that, recently in China, this kind of articles everywhere. So some people selling that as a business.
ブローカーが誕生していて、
Oh, shit.
そういった制度を熟知した人が共同でその会社を運営する方のように見せかけて、全部準備万端整えて、私はここで抜けていいですねって言って去っていかれる。会社をなんとなく、業績もね、業績を抑えることができれば保険料としても少なく済むでしょうし。
As you might
Okay, but I mean, what she's saying though, that would only work for 2 years, right? If you don't have the money, if you don't make a profit within 2 years, they cancel your visa. So I wonder when he recorded this, because like we reacted to a video the other day where it's like people that specifically have the visa that they're talking about, and they mentioned that. But I mean, like people coming to Japan, putting $50,000 in the bank just so they could get expensive healthcare. I mean, I'm pretty sure for $50,000 they could get decent healthcare in China. Is that not true? You know? Yeah, it's messed up over here. Winston and Matt say, yeah, the worst doctor's visit, UTL,
You know,
yeah.
many people in Japan quite sensitive about this because the system is designed for those who grew up in Japan.
そういったものももともとは日本人のために制度設計当然されているんですけれども、日本で経済活動をしてやっぱり学び育ってきているわけですから、コツコツとそういう社会保障の制度、一生懸命社会的役割をこの日本で果たしているからこそ、そういった制度の恩恵に預かれる。そうした日本人のためのスキームにただ乗りするようなことはやめてほしいっていう声を私もたくさんの国民の皆さんから聞いてまいりましたので、その問題意識をお伝えしました。
With
That's
the
good.
aging society or medical costs higher and higher, which possibly caused a massive increase and more burden on the citizens. And meanwhile, we see foreigners who fail to pay the bills or abuse the system.
That is fucking bullshit. And in Thailand, they, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but in Thailand I heard that they take your passport because people get hurt there all the time and then they try to dodge their hospital bills. And in Japan, they don't have like security or anything in the hospitals, so you could totally go there and then just run out without paying and they're not going to arrest you. And in Thailand, it's like, I think that if you get into the hospital, they get your passport so you can't leave, or they report it. So if you try to leave, they detain you at the airport. And I don't know how bad it is in Japan for people running out on not paying the bills, but they should set up a similar system. So if people do that, like especially if all the tourists coming now, they should definitely do that, you know? Let's see.
Clearly, those people fueled the anger among Japanese even more. So in the parliament, there has been a lot of discussion about it.
これ大きな問題になってくると思います。やっぱり社会保険体制も非常に厳しいわけですよね。で財源ないと。 いうことを常々言ってるわけです。そうするとですね、どっかにやっぱりしわ寄せは行きますよ。でしわ寄せが行った時にですね、外国人の方はこんな優遇されているのに日本人はなぜこうなんだ。これ生活保護の問題もそうです、前回やらせていただきました外国人の生活保護の問題もあります。この社会保障制度、日本の社会保障制度の中で、外国人をどこまで組み込んでいくのか考えていかないと、これは大きな分断を呼ぶことになると。
そういうことは許さんということはやっぱり鮮明にしていかないと、この国自体が崩壊するような気がいたしておりますので、ご指摘を受けてよく実態を調べてまいります。
To give you more context, last year we decided to get them on the system, hoping that more foreigners can safely work in Japan for longer periods of time to sustain the economy. At the same time, though, there's more and more pressure to punish those abusers. While many foreigners are opposed to it and fearful about it, our politicians can't ignore the frustration. While many foreigners
Oh yeah, guys, and I talked to my immigration lawyer friend about this, where it says they might revoke your permanent residency. This is if you haven't paid your taxes, or you haven't paid your medical insurance, or into the pension. But the good news is, guys, is that, like, because I was worried that, like, what if I missed a payment or something and they never got back to me or whatever. And he confirmed that if you have any, like, outstanding debt to the, like, they're not just going to take it away in one fell swoop. Like, if they're like, you haven't paid or something for this, they're going to give you notifications in the mail. And after the fifth one, if you just ignored it, then they'll like send somebody over to your house and be like, yeah, like what the fuck's the deal? But even then, you have a chance to talk to them. But still, a lot of people jumped on that last year, and they're like, oh no, they're taking away our jobs, our rights. But this is specifically for like Chinese people, or like I guess other Asian people that come here and then they do sketchy shit on the side while having permanent residency, but they don't pay taxes. It's basically for like business owners. Like we talked about this in the first anti-foreigner sentiment reaction video, but for instance, there's a lot of sketchy underground Chinese services in Japan, and you can use them through Chinese apps on a phone. So you can, like, they have a Chinese Uber, they have Chinese Airbnb, they have Chinese job listing sites, and Japanese people don't know Chinese, so these places, they make tens if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then they don't pay a single cent in tax. And so, and like some of those guys have permanent residency. And so Japan, if they see you making a shit ton of money and you're living in a nice place but you haven't paid any of your taxes, then they're going to be like, what the fuck, dude? And so yeah, this is that's mostly to get those guys that are scamming big bucks from Japan to send back this stupid dirty commie China. Okay, here we go.
Opposed to it and fearful about it. Our politicians can't ignore the frustration.
How is Japan treating refugee flooding? Well, there's no refugees coming into the country. The thing is that these factories, like for example in Saitama, they hire these people, and then either those people quit or the factory lets them go, and they're supposed to go back to their country. But instead they say that, like, oh, we're discriminated against in Japan, like out there, we need to stay in Japan. And then they apply for refugee status because Japan, for some reason, doesn't strong arm force them to be deported. And then while they're waiting to be disapproved for not being allowed to still be a refugee, they basically are free to do whatever they want. And then they make a lot of money doing sketchy shit underground, stealing stuff, like money loans, and like what do you call it, loan sharking and all this shit. And I mean, to be fair, like the biggest people that are the problem are the politicians that tell the cops to let this shit go and not look into it, so those guys are either getting their money, they're getting their wheels greased by either the people that are sending all those foreigners over here to work for that or something, because normal politicians that really care about Japan wouldn't let that shit happen. But these guys are obviously getting paid off. They're getting incentives somehow or whatever. So they're asking the cops to not look into it. It's really slimy shit. Those bastards. I'm more Japanese loving than those sons of bitches, I tell you what.
Among Japanese people.
その国の人々が納得した制度、税金の使われ方っていうのをしていなければ、当然国内で不満が溜まっていきますよね。
移民に対して反対する声も非常に多くなってきてますけれども、なんか制度設計がヘイトと分断を招いてると私は思ってるんですよね。日本があまりに外国人に対して緩すぎる部分があるから、いい外国人も、悪い外国人もごちゃになって語られてる。でもそうじゃないから。
As the education costs also higher and higher, the sense of unfairness about it is rising as more and more Japanese students suffer from debts and giving up on college, and some of the parliament members seeking higher tuition for international students.
留学生の学費
Oh,
を
really?
自国の学
That's the
生よ
first
り
time
高
I'm
く
hearing
設
about
定してい
this.
る国々が多く存在しています。日本の学生こそ我が国の宝であります。日本も自国の学生を重視して外国人留学生に応分の負担をしていただく。
Look at
I agree.
Japanese
I
tuition
agree.
rates. They have gone up 40 times since 1972, and also in
Oh,
that
wow,
period,
really?
there's been wage stagnation and tax hikes.
To minimize the burden of higher education costs, Japan's moving in that direction regarding high school, as Tokyo is already doing that regardless of the household's income. But just like the social security, many Japanese
That's
people
good.
worry about abuse.
教育の無償化っていうのが高校で始まっていくんです。それは私が所属している政党が必死に訴えてきたことでもあるんですけれども、やっぱりこれは日本人の子どもだけに限るべきだっていう議論は当然多くありまして。
To be fair, some of the parliament members are raising a lot of concern about the trend and claims that this
Well, I mean, college is one thing, but for high school, if your kid was raised in Japan and they're going to Japanese high school, it should be fair for both of them, I think, because you want, if foreigners are going to come here and they're not going to integrate with Japanese people, at least their kids going to Japanese school will integrate, because they'll watch the same TV as their friends. They'll go to the same school as their friends, same homework as their friends, and their friends are mostly going to be Japanese, right? So it's not really a bad thing. You want them to be in school,
could cause a bigger xenophobia or negative effects. As the system is getting tougher, more foreigners would be scared about it and possibly stay away from Japan a lot. So he strongly claims.
日本国民でさえ大変なのに、
This
どう
guy's
して外
super
国の方
leftist.
だけそんな特権を受けるん
Fun little fact, this guy, I think his name is, Yamamoto Taro, super Japanese name. That's like Jonathan Smith, Robert Jr., Bush, Obama. Like, it's a very, very Japanese name. This guy was in the movie Battle Royale. He was Kawada, the guy who is the son of a doctor in that movie. Pretty good movie, but yeah.
ですか。
Now he's super left.
外人どもが日本にやってきてこの国を壊してるみたいなご都合主義のストーリーで踊らされちゃダメだってことなんですよ。この国を壊してるのは紛れもない日本人なんですよ。それを外国人のせいにするっていうのは私は納得がいかない。この国で少なくとも選ばれた日本人の多くの国会議員たちがこの国を壊すことに加担してるっていう現実にまず向き合うってことが重要。
外国人差別につながってはいけませんので、私たちはゼノフォビアではないですし、でそういった観点から教育にしろ社会保障制度にしろ、まずは日本という国の主役である日本人の納得感、公平感っていうのが大事だろうと思っています。日本であることが第一なんですね。リスクっていうのは迫り来ているのだという意識を高めていただきますようにお願いします。
労働人口は減っていますから。
Yeah, they should clone more Japanese people.
機能できなくなる分野もあると思うんですよ。
日本の人口が少なくなっていくことを受け入れる。
God, it's like
今までは
chlorine
当た
water
り
in
前
your
に
brain.
享受していたサービスが享受されなくなることもある。例えば日本ではコンビニエンスストア24時間365日空いてるの当たり前だった。
Yeah.
働き手が確保できないってなったら週休2日になるかもしれないですよね。でもそれでもいいじゃないか。これまでの日本国民が圧倒的多数の、いわゆる単一民族国家っていうような言い方もありますけれども、に近い状態で今の行政サービス、民間サービスを少しずつ縮小しながらも、日本が日本らしい日本であることを取ろうじゃないか、どんどんいらっしゃいませをしていく。そうするとこの国における日本人比率っていうのは当然どんどん低下していきます。ただ日本はやっぱり日本であってほしいんです。
Japanese nationals living in the country decreased for 14 years straight. The number of foreign nationals living in Japan stood at nearly 3 million, which was a 10.7% increase compared to the previous year.
どこの自治体も生き残るのに必死です。外国の方でもいいから人口を維持していかないとという気持ちはわかるんだけれども、ここで大いに 振り返らなくてはいけないのは、これまで日本人が安い労働力だから外国人の人材を受け入れてきたんじゃないですかってことなんですよ。安い賃金で働いてくれるんだったらおいで。そうじゃなくて、同じ人間として社会で生きていきましょうねってなったら、当然その権利も義務もシェアすべきで、その仲間として外国人を受け入れていくっていう覚悟がどれくらいあるんですか。そういったそのビザで日本で本格的にビジネスをされる方も当然いらっしゃってね、結構中国人向けのビジネスを日本でされる方も、特に不動産、海外。
I gotta say that I went to Shibuya yesterday to get to like film a video, but I got to eat in Shibuya. They have Panda Express, and you don't understand, after being in Japan for so long and not having real Chinese food. They have Japanese style Chinese food here, but it's not real Chinese food compared to the States. Even if you go to an authentic Chinese food restaurant in the States, it's not the same. And I went, I was walking around the Miyashita Park, which is like an area, like it's a building in Shibuya. And they have authentic Chinese food restaurants there, and you can tell they've got like a certain just smell of like grease and sesame seeds and stuff that's so different. And I don't know, it's just I grew up going to like Asian markets in the States, and it felt so good to smell that I hadn't smelled in like over 20 years. I was like, wow, I remember. But at the same time, that's a Chinese business aimed for Chinese tourists that come over here, because Japanese people are not going to be interested in that. They want to eat Japanese oriented Chinese food. But yeah, a lot of these foreigners, they want to just open up businesses that are for other foreigners, you know, which isn't really a bad thing. But at the same time, it's like, if you're moving to Japan and moving your whole life to another country, don't you want to be like, kind of, you're working for those people first, not for fellow foreigners.
の方向けですし、日本人が行っても物価が高すぎて楽しむことができない、日本であって日本ではないという場所がどんどん広がっていくだろうと、非常に強い危機感があります。
Yeah, we were Matt and I were talking about that, how it's like Shibuya feels like it's more for foreigners than it is for Japanese people these days. But I agree. But at the same time, it's like that's not the whole city, though. You know, you got to be careful when, like, even like when I first came to Japan, like Roppongi is the place where all the embassies are, and that's like where you would find the first like Shake Shack, first Chipotle, like everything that foreigners that have money would want to buy to have a taste of America. They would go, like, they would live there, work there. And so, yeah, they do have that, but I don't think it's going to spread that much unless, I don't know, we'd have to wait until the next 10 years to pass to see what happens.
非常に重要なことではあるんですけれども、欧米は今逆方向に向かっていますね。グローバリズムというものが広がった時、フランスの方が、イタリアの方が、イギリスの方が、これがフランスなのか、イギリスなのか、イタリアなのか。その国のアイデンティティって何なんですか？
Yep.
世界の中の日本。
It's so nice to see Japanese people being so based in understanding what the fuck is going on.
を見ながら、このままこの制度を継続していくと、
Yeah, in Europe they're just letting in everybody, all these men, all these young military aged, conveniently forgot their passport men, that and they have a shitty government system that's not taking care of any of them. And it's just all those countries that are losing their identity. And it's like, well, what about the population? The population's lowering. It doesn't matter. Like, look what happened to South Africa. You had a small minority running that country, and it was racist, sure, but it worked. It was look at it. What happened when they gave it to the people that the country was like that were owed that country? They ruined it to shit, you know? You look at India. India's been under its own control and off of British control forever. I just saw a video earlier today where this guy's walking in the mountains, hiking in the mountains, and there's just trash everywhere. Like, what's the point of giving a country to somebody if they ruin it? All these people, they're coming from countries that they're in charge of, that they ruin, and then they come over there, and it's like we're supposed to feel sorry for them. It's like, I remember when Obama was president, he deported like 3+ million people, you know? Trump's barely deported 100,000 yet so far. And it's like, unless, and it's like, well, what if the population lowers? It's like, who cares? Who cares? It'll grow again when it needs to. But like, just because the population's lowering doesn't mean you have to let in all of these people that don't give a shit about your country, that don't want to learn the language, that don't care about assimilating, just because some guy in his ivory tower wants cheap labor that's not going to complain and accept shitty wages, you know? It's fucked.
日本がどうなりますかというふうに疑問を持った時に、いわゆる日本国民、日本民族 50% になってもいいのかどうかを今から考えていかないと、自分たちが思っていなかった未来にたどり着いてしまうかもしれない。
That was very based. It's always good to hear Japanese people being based. Anyway, you guys know my stance on all this stuff. If you haven't watched this before, I suggest check out the first part 1 that I reacted to this video. I go way more in depth about all this stuff. But anyway, excuse me, princess. That's my reaction video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you made it this far, you know, don't forget to check out, if you want to see more, check out the playlist. I put that as the top comment. And I'll link to the original video in the video description. So make sure to go over and drop that guy a sub. Anyway, like always, guys, thanks for watching. I can't wait to hear your guys' responses and comments down below. Y'all stay black, and I'll see you on the next one. Otsukaresama deshita. Yeah, buddy. Oh, my ass. My fuck. There we go.
It's time you bit the bullet and started caring about something with all your heart and energy. But you can't care about it if you're always holding yourself back in case it doesn't work out.
Yeah, why y'all put cheese on my cheeseburger?
I'm sorry, what?
Shut your bitch ass.